Welcome, one and all, to the future of news. Bitcoin is here now when the dollar is through. Start stacking those sats and make it habitual. We all deserve to be sovereign individuals. Time to hear from Sean and get our fix of the day. Get on the standard now because
this is the way.
We were meant for this moment since the day we were born. Now sit back and enjoy. It's good day, Bitcoin.
Good morning. Bitcoin is back at $69,000, 2 days out before the election. Bitcoin volatility is here, not as much as what we thought it would be, but it is here. Investors are loading up on Bitcoin ahead of this final decision. Robert Kiyosaki has come out with a warning of an incoming banking crash after Oklahoma Bank shut its doors. And I want to dive into who Ron Paul is. He is starting to take over the internet, especially over on X. But Fred Kruger, bring Fred up. We do have Fred joining us live tomorrow morning. So if you've got any questions, drop them in the comment section after the video goes live. But this is a review of where we are. Bitcoin, it's at 69,000. To be precise, it's at $69,626. Trump is leading by 10 points in the betting markets. The Fed, it's actually decreased a whole lot since then, but the Fed will cut interest rates again on Thursday. There is an FOMC meeting Thursday. Pretty insane. The deficit is officially out of control. 100% agree with that one, Fred. And we're starting year 3 of the 4-year cycle, where almost all of the gains since inception have occurred. I like the odds. Crypto Rover chimed in. We did have a little bit of a pullback. Bitcoin always dumps right before the US election, but look what happens next. You can see 2016 down 10%, 2020 down 6.1, and at the moment down 6.3. Then it's gone up and to the right hardcore. But checkmate, we've been saying this for a couple of weeks. The next few weeks are likely to be pretty wild in markets. Bitcoin is the asset which makes the most sense to hold irrespective of the outcome. Remember, Bitcoin was $8.5 thousand on the 1st of March 2020. After a global pandemic, economic shutdown is $8.6 thousand at the end of April. When in doubt, zoom out. So over the weekend, I'll just hit refresh here. 69,177. We did start this morning at 68,000. I saw it as low as 67,000. Highs there, but $67,569, the low in the last 24 hours with a high of 69,519. We're actually just above that. At the minute, if we have a look on the big red button, good morning to everyone watching live, watching the replay. If you haven't already and we vibe, hit subscribe. We do have Fred coming on, then I am sitting down on Wednesday with Mark Moss for a full-length podcast. But Robert Kiyosaki, he's warned us again. Guys always warn us in regards to banking crashes. But the banking crash, it has begun. Oklahoma Bank shut its doors. Watch out, bonds and commercial real estate are next to go. Take care. Now we have Ron Paul diving into the conversation. Do want to discuss who Ron Paul is. Check out the date on this post. By creating many trillions of new dollars out of thin air, the Fed set in motion economic disaster. The warnings are over. Inflation is now here. Every excuse will be offered up as the reason for economic pain. Don't be deceived. The unconstitutional Fed is the reason here. So, Ron Paul, who is he? Where's he come from? And why are we talking about him? He has been nominated potentially to join the Department of Government Efficiency. If Trump gets in, I'm not saying it's good or bad. But Ron Paul, he knows a thing or two. So let's just talk about how this relates to Ron Paul and what he could do. He's a former US congressman, physician, and presidential candidate known for his libertarian views. He served as a member of the US House of Representatives for Texas across multiple terms from 76 to 2013. Ron is a member of the Republican Party, though he ran for president as a libertarian in 88 back in the day. Ron Paul is a prominent advocate for limited government, individual liberties, and non-interventionist foreign policy. One of Paul's central beliefs is a deep skepticism towards central banking. I like that straight away, particularly the Federal Reserve, which he views as a source of economic instability. He argues that the Fed's control over the money supply and interest rates lead to artificial economic cycles, including inflation and recessions. He often highlights that when the Fed manipulates interest rates, it distorts markets by promoting excessive borrowing and speculative bubbles like the housing bubble that happened and contributed to the 2008 financial crisis. Last few points here. Paul supports returning to the gold standard, where the value of the US currency is tied to gold as a means of limiting government power to inflate the currency. He has authored books including End the Fed, where he argues that abolishing the Federal Reserve and restoring sound money would improve the economy by allowing the market, rather than a central authority, to regulate money supply and interest rates. His views have influenced libertarian and conservative thought, particularly in advocating for monetary reform and greater transparency in government financial policy. Couple of days out. Ron Paul could be another candidate joining in, and we're going to dive into a couple of things Vivek Ramaswamy is doing with some high-level capitalists that are taking over the world. But CNBC, investors, they are loading up on bonds and Bitcoin ahead of the US presidential election, and yet we are still under 70,000. Doesn't make really any sense when you understand it, but it's a nice opportunity to be able to stack. We've got 1 minute of a 3-minute video to play here. Let's get straight into it this morning.
You look at the inflows that you've seen, and is there anything unusual about the way you've seen these flows and the price movements along with them? I mean, it's a very significant amount since they've started.
Yeah, I mean, these things they took in tons of money. Like, they launched in early January. They took in tons of money in March and April. Obviously, they took in a ton of money right when they launched. But the last 13 days have been kind of extreme. I mean, 12 of the last 13 days have been inflows, and the total inflows are just shy of $5 billion. So we're at like $4.7, $4.8 billion that have come in just over the last 13 trading days. So I think some of this is momentum chasing. Obviously, as price runs up, some of this has relation to do with the Trump odds of victory. People are, I think that a Trump victory would be good for Bitcoin. I don't know exactly what's causing it, but there's a lot of demand coming into these ETFs for sure.
So how does this compare with what else you're seeing in the crypto world? Because
that's about it there. People are starting to price in the Trump victory. The only thing I'd like to say on that, this is my own biased review, whether it's the Democrats or the Republicans, no politician's going to save any of us. What will save us is Bitcoin in self-custody and holding it for a long time. That would be my advice here. Maybe one of them will leave us alone a little bit longer than the other, give people an opportunity to really be able to stack. But I truly just don't believe that they're here to save us or fix anything. Now, Michael Saylor is an interesting character, and I really like this by Anil. MicroStrategy has 16 billion of permanent Bitcoin capital. BlackRock has 22 billion of overnight deposits. Do you understand the difference between having 16 billion forever versus having 22 billion that people can withdraw tomorrow? We're building up a massive capital base that we can then lever that will support our equity, our options, our derivatives, and all the fixed income instruments we issue. The key idea is that one company can be the leading Bitcoin bank. To be that company, you need to be 150% Bitcoin. You might ask, aren't you taking a lot of risk? The only risk I'm taking is Bitcoin risk. If I diversify that risk, it would destroy our pure play. I could buy another $40 billion company right now, but that would cut my volatility in half, reduce liquidity, and kill the options and fixed income market. MicroStrategy has made a strategic decision to securitize Bitcoin as an asset class. We will live or die based on Bitcoin. Michael Saylor. The guy is coming for the Bitcoin. We have millionaires, billionaires coming for Bitcoin. And we can see that through Strive Asset Management, which is a company with strong links to Trump's inner circle. They are getting into Bitcoin. It was founded by Vivek Ramaswamy. Investors include Peter Thiel, JD Vance, Bill Ackman, and Howard Lutnick. They manage 1.7 billion. Strive reports the core part of its business moving forward will be integrating Bitcoin in standard portfolios of everyday Americans. So a little bit more information on this. Strive Asset Management embraces Bitcoin. We have Vivek standing loud and proud. Strive Asset Management, $1.7 billion firm with close ties to the Trump admin, is venturing into the crypto industry. One thing, whether it's Trump or Kamala, doesn't really matter. Bitcoin is for everyone. I guess everyone's trying to divide and conquer at the minute. It'll be nice couple of days and we can just get back to the signal. My opinion. Anyway, reflecting a growing interest among conservative investors in digital assets, the company founded by Vivek, a vocal critic of ESG, environmental, social, and governance principles, has long positioned itself as an anti-ESG haven for investors. Now, Strive looks to integrate Bitcoin into its standard portfolio's decision that aligns with the broader trend of Trump supporters embracing crypto. It's so sad if they're trying to make Bitcoin a right-wing issue. Bitcoin is literally that saving lifeboat, that life raft for everyone. Trump loyalists, they back Strive. Strive has several links to Donald Trump in his campaign. Strive's co-founder Vivek holds an advisory position with the company and remains its majority shareholder. In addition to Ramaswamy, Strive also boasts a high-profile roster of investors. Check out this list of investors and advisors, including J.D. Vance, Peter Thiel, Bill Ackman, Howard Lutnick, all prominent supporters of Donald. Vice President candidate Vance was an early investor in Strive through his Ohio-based venture firm, NARA, I think that's how we say it, Capital. Thiel and Ackman participated in Strive's seed fundraiser in 22, while Cantor Fitzgerald, led by Lutnick, a co-chair of Trump's transition team, has been a significant investor in the firm and sits on its board. Bitcoin is coming into absolutely everything. All that matters, though, is Bitcoin in self-custody. If you've got Bitcoin on the exchange, or I was having a conversation with a lady on the weekend. She's like, Sean, can we sit down and can we work through my cold storage? I'm not sleeping easy at night. Paraphrasing a little bit, but she just said, I need to get this sorted. So the best people you can talk to is the Bitcoin way. If you reach out to them, you say, I sent them the first 30 minutes is free. Tony used to work for Steve Jobs. He's literally the best person in the entire world, my belief, to be able to help educate people, to be able to take their Bitcoin off the exchange, put it into self-custody, run their own node, be better than a Swiss bank. I've moved it a little bit. Let's see if I can bring it up. Just next to the Bedford hat. Run your own bank. Have a Swiss bank account in your pocket. And the first 30 minutes is free. But I've put a link at the top of the description. And then with everything going on, you can de-Google your phone. And then the third step there is get a residency where freedom is valued. It's very cheap, very affordable. Maybe a good option. Maybe not for now, but for 5, 10, 15 years into the future. Now, this is pretty interesting. David Bailey chiming in. And although we've thought that he was trolling over the last year or so, you know, and he has put shitcoins onto Bitcoin, put that aside, he's done pretty well calling these odds. He's the one behind Trump that made Bitcoin become a presidential issue, which is one of the people. But to timing in, Bitcoin media CEO David Bailey, there is an undercurrent of Bitcoin nation state adoption happening behind the scenes. I think we're just months away from a nation state or a few entering the market in size. I'm not sure where the speculation is coming from, but the full tweet. There is an undercurrent of Bitcoin nation state adoption happening behind the scenes. At this point, seems like most developing nations have funded domestic mining program as test early movers are transitioning from 100 plus megawatts pilots to gigawatt scale projects. Next, we'll be establishing a national Bitcoin reserve, either through a strategic stockpile via the central bank or via sovereign wealth fund. Many countries are discussing. The Overton window has shifted so dramatically on this topic. I think we're just months away from a nation state or a few entering the market in size, billions of dollars every month. My takeaway from this is the whole world is starting to wake up to Bitcoin. They've realized for the last 16 years they could have bought it at any price. They realized that it's still just under $100,000. They're starting to wake up. I truly don't believe the masses, though, are going to wake up until Bitcoin's at $1 million. And even Warren Buffett, if he was to start buying Bitcoin at $1 million per coin with the cash on hand, I believe he'd still be able to buy more than what Michael Saylor has, which is absolutely insane. The level that these guys are playing, the levels within levels, absolutely amazing. They're coming for it slowly, then suddenly. I'm stacking like a madman. Hopefully it stays under 70,000 for a few more hours. Bitcoin pulls under 68K, so as we said, it dropped down to the high 67,000 as the crypto markets falter ahead of the election. At least according to betting markets, the US presidential election has moved to a nearly 50-50 race. It's to be expected a couple of days out versus the outlook for an easy Trump victory just days ago. Markets, they hate uncertainty, goes an old Wall Street saw. Just about 96 hours ago, the price of Bitcoin was within a few dollars of breaking through its all-time high, above 73,700. Now we're down $4,000 since that day. Actually, a little bit disappointed. I thought we would have gone higher with the volatility both to the up and to the downside. It is what it is. Since though, Trump odds have been falling, as has the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies in general. At one point overnight, the former president's victory chance declined to less than 53%, with Harris rising to above 47. Alongside, Bitcoin fell to as low as 67.6 at press time during the US morning hours Sunday. Both Trump and Bitcoin have come back a bit, with Trump sitting at 56 and Bitcoin at 68.3. We're at 69.6 at the minute. Lower by more than 2% over the past 24 hours. Miles chiming in here. It's crazy how correlated Bitcoin prices to Trump's election odds, wrote analyst Miles Dutra on X. Pretty incredible chart, really. Presidential election winner. It's just interesting. It's gone down, and then look at the Bitcoin price. It's followed it nearly to a T. Can we get them on the one picture? It looks picture perfect, almost. It'll be what it'll be. We've got a couple of days left, and then we've got the Fed's FOMC meeting where it is expected that they'll cut rates. But let's dive into the block clock. I'll hit refresh on it. 868,736 sats per USD. That's a cool number. 1,444, 69,255 USD per Bitcoin. The market cap under 1.4 at 1.37 trillion. Fees, UTXOs, management. Today's the day to do it. Real quick summary with your UTXOs. If you've been DCAing over the last couple of years or the last year or however long it is, and you buy it on the exchange and you send it, say it's like $1,000 every week, for example. Well, that's broken up. You put $10,000 in, that's broken up into 10 UTXOs. What you want to do is combine all those. We are going to get to a point in the near-term future where $1,000, the fees to be able to move that Bitcoin are going to be so high. So you don't want all your UTXOs all in one big ball, and you want to distinguish between different bags, KYC, KYC free, for example. However, you want to have them in big groups. While the fees are so cheap, now's the time to be able to do it. If you need any help, again, reach out to the Bitcoin Way. Priority is 3, anytime is 2 sats per VByte. Mempool, 160,000, that's pretty much on average. Last blocks run a little bit slow here, only 128 out of 140 of 4. And the hash rate's gone up 8.39%. Looks like, but if I remember correctly, it's down about exactly that on Friday, our last live news show. Previous adjustment was up 4%. Next adjustment's going to go up 6% on the day of the election. I wonder if this is an Australian time or US time. We are running one day ahead. We are running a little bit hot here, and this is a little bit sad. If you can go out there, run a node, let's get this over 20,000 by the end of the year. It allows you to be self-sovereign. Run your own node, get wallet. Don't trust, verify. Run a node, it says it there. Good advice. Now, he just won't go away, but the self-proclaimed Bitcoin inventor faced contempt of court case over 1.2 billion UK lawsuit. Craig Ryder's not Satoshi, and we've got a new character jumping out saying that he is Satoshi Nakamoto. One of these people are. Hopefully one day it will end. And then this is pretty interesting. Stock up on emergency supplies. The US Commission is calling to stock up on emergency supplies, as most countries are not in a position to ensure the survival of their citizens for at least 3 days. What the hell are they about to unleash? I wouldn't even take it as that. Just for everyone, here in Australia, we live in, not Cyclone Alley, but we do get cyclones. So to be able to have enough water, frozen food, enough canned vegetables, canned food, to be able to get through a week, we've got 2 big boxes for the cyclone. It makes sense. And you just check it every 6 months, make sure the expiry date, and I truly believe as well with this, I think that's a good reminder that something can go wrong very quickly without any forewarning. I saw somebody was on Tornado Watch this morning over in the States. I'm not sure if it's true or not, but things can just blow up unexpectedly. It is nice to be able to be prepared. And maybe that's a little bit of a prepper mindset. And maybe that's how I approach Bitcoin. I don't think things are going to go wrong overnight with the financial markets until they do. 2008 came out of nowhere. March 2020 came out of nowhere. It's nice just to be a little bit prepared ahead of the curve. Hope for the best, plan for the worst. If nothing bad happens, Bitcoin's still number go up technology. The food can be eaten at a later date as well. Just check it before the expiry. That's the news with the fast facts. Remember, tomorrow, Fred Krueger will be joining us live. On Wednesday, we'll be sitting down with Mark Moss. We have Lawrence Lepard coming on very shortly, Robin Sayer, Max DeMarco. Couple of amazing guests that I have lined up. Preston Pish coming on as well shortly. Samson Mao, as we get closer towards the end of the year, will come onto the channel. Definitely hit the notification bell for that. I'm going to dive into a little bit of a banter this morning. Let us know where you are tuning in from. And you're liking this dip. So it's 8 o'clock here in Australia. Had major problems helping somebody get to their first Bitcoin over the last 2 weeks. They started buying it. One bank closed them out. So they started using another bank account to be able to buy it. That bank closed them out. They went in to the bank branch and the bank branch said, no, you're being scammed. You're not allowed to be able to buy cryptocurrency, is what they called Bitcoin. And this person, they'd been trained, saying, I'm not buying cryptocurrency. That's a gamble. I'm just there to be able to buy Bitcoin. Anyway, got into a screaming argument with it. It was pretty funny hearing the replay of that. But basically, the bank said no, and this person said, it's my money, let me do it. And then they're calling me. I said, well, legally, it's not your money when it's in the bank. So they're truly starting to understand why I'm such an advocate for Bitcoin. They're saying this is absolute BS, and they were not happy. Anyway, because the banks have done what they've done, and they won't allow them to go more than one of their banks is with Commonwealth, so they've opened up that bank account, but won't allow any more money to go into Bitcoin. So I was liaising with Jeff Yu, the CIO of Monochrome ETF, and at 9:30, as soon as the market's open, we'll hit buy, because you can go in there from Commonwealth Bank with as much money as possible, and there's a $500 conversion fee to buy the ETF to be able to send it to a wallet. So for the ETS, I am so grateful they're here. Tried to do it at 4:40 Friday afternoon, and I was like, click and buy, and screen sharing with them. Click and buy, and it's like, no. And I stopped, I'm like, what's going on here? Why can we not buy Bitcoin? It's because the markets were closed, the CBO stock exchange. It's hilarious. I'm like, oh man, I'm so used to Bitcoin trading 24/7. Anyway, we're coming to the end with it. Little bit of a story. They absolutely hate it, but it's crazy. But there's options out there. And then there's another thing that people can do as well. I'll bring up the name later on this week, but there's a form you can sign where it's like a transfer to a bank. And they don't actually need to know what it's for, is another way to be able to get the money out of the banks. The point of the story is, here in Australia at least, I've been closed out of my bank 6 times over the last couple of years. Somebody I'm trying to help, 2 banks in like just over a week, 10 days. Absolutely insane. The banks hate the money exiting the system, and they're trying to keep control. Maybe that's a little bit conspiracy hat. Maybe it's not, because with that misinformation, disinformation bill, the bankers are saying that we're not allowed to talk about impending bank runs, like what Robert Kiyosaki said. Where is it? This dude here. Banking crash has begun. I truly believe that's the exact thing happening here in Australia as well. Slowly, then suddenly. Even if it's not like a major banking crash, just the fear is completely worthless. Anyway, diving in, how is everyone this morning? Michael in the house, Johnny Midas, Dave Yu. Nobody is going to do anything to fix the financial situation. They need it to break. 100%. And that's why I've reached out to Lawrence Lepard. He is coming on the 3rd of December. So a couple of weeks away, about 4 weeks away, as we round out Q4. Nobody's coming to save us. They need it to break. And I think Lawrence Lepard's a very vocal advocate in regards to warning people about that. Darren Parry, good to see you. This is the way. Shifu, howdy everyone. Good to see you. Habib, Belize, g'day mate. Glad to be back. Good to see you. Mike, Retro Beaver in the house. Bobby 6 Killer, greetings from Switzerland. Good to see you this morning. Mike, apparently Kamala has a key on her back. That's a little bit harsh. I really look forward to all of this ending. really, it's I think under one, and I'm sure you can pick who. I think it's going to be a whole lot nicer, less wars over the next 4 years, a little bit better monetary spending. But both sides have policies that I don't like. I'm here in Australia. I'm so far removed. I can't vote. Yes, it does affect us on a geopolitical level. Global financial markets are so tied in with the US Federal Reserve with your monetary policy. I think it's going to be a lot better under one than the other. But both their policies, it's hectic, all the name calling and stuff. It really rubs me the wrong way. So we've got a couple of days. I cannot wait. I think everyone is just anxious on this election, but long term, it doesn't matter. 100%. Bitcoin will debase fiats all around the world. Peace, brothers. Rick Sona, 72 hour. 100% signal there, man. G'day from Florida. Mick Lovin in the house. G'day, legends. If you haven't already, hit subscribe. Tomorrow morning, Fred Krueger. At the same time, we go live 7:35 a.m. Brisbane time in Australia, which I believe works out to be 5:30 Eastern Standard Time, I believe. Whatever the time is now, minus half an hour, we'll start bring Fred on for a bit of signal. Let us know if you have any questions, not in the live chat, but in the comment section once this video goes up. But please do something nice for yourself, for somebody else out there. Have a beautiful day. Be blessed. Peace.
Everything seemed normal. Successful businesses were functioning as they usually should. Money was being placed in the bank as savings. Life was good. Nobody notices anything funny. But 2008 hits and all hell breaks loose. Everything we thought about money and the banking was a complete lie, a complete sham, a Ponzi, a scam. The whole world fell apart and a lot of people got hurt financially. And as a result of this, the Bitcoin white paper was born. But yet the same mistakes keep happening over and over again. People are leaving money on their institutions up until the last straw, FTX, when billions of dollars were lost, families were decimated, life savings were completely wiped, and people were wondering what on earth just happened. We have an option to take full custody of our funds, and that's Bitcoin. We just have to learn the process. It's not hard. It's just something we've never had to do before. Otherwise, the same mistakes are going to keep repeating themselves, and people are going to continue to get hurt over and over and over until they learn you need to exit the system in order to protect yourselves and your loved ones.